Good evening and salutations, my Days of Our Lives fans. So, Kristen, at the end of the day, will do anything that she can to get what she wants. It doesn't matter who she has to sit there and use, sell out, friend or foe. She will do whatever is necessary to get what she wants. And you see that today. She uses Chad's phone to call Gwen. And she's like, yo, listen, I'm going to be going in a few minutes. And you need to sit, I'm going to be transferring in a few minutes. And you need to sit there and find a way to get me out. And Gwen is like, well, how am I going to sit there and do that? Like, I have no idea, how am I going to break you out? And of course, you know, Kristen reminds her, hey, listen, if you don't break me out, then I'm going to tell Xander that Sarah's alive, and we all know what's going to end up happening at that point. So, and again, it's one of those things where it's like, you know, Gwen, didn't you just get blackmailed, like, not that long ago? You would have thought you would have just learned by now, you know? You would have thought that you would have probably tried any other option before saying, okay, sure, I'll go whatever that you're telling me, because if you don't, then, my life is going to get ruined again. I don't understand. This woman came to Salem, had all these plans, these backup plans, all this stuff to take down, you know, Jack and his family. Okay? And all that just went right out the window when she wanted to start redeeming herself, to redeem herself. And, you know, up until now, I never really kind of understood why some people don't like when, like, the villain characters decide to redeem themselves and try to become good. It's because the minute that they do all of their potential, all that scheming, planning, you know, all that force of nature just goes right out the window. Just goes right out the window. So, because, you know, Gwen doesn't know exactly how to do it, you know, she's like, I want to do it, I just don't know how I'm going to do it. Kristen's like, alright, so if I give you plans on how to do this, you're going to do it, right? Because if you don't do it, well, you already know. So she hangs up on her. She calls Ava. Remember Ava, who, and, you know, Chad was sitting there talking to Rafe about Ava's involvement, and how, you know, Rafe was like, I believe when Ava told me that, you know, she didn't help Kristen escape. So Kristen calls Ava up, and Kristen's like, listen, I need help getting out. And Ava's all like, no, I have a good life going on now. You know, me and Rafe are in a good place. I don't want that to get ruined. Now, apparently they must have been somewhat friends. But even with that being said, I guess they must have been somewhat friends, and I guess Kristen must have helped her out at some point, which is why Ava decided to, you know, look the other way. But with that being said, you know, Ava did help her out. And how does Kristen repay her? Blackmail. That's what she does. Blackmail. Ava's like, Kristen's like, listen, if you don't help me escape, then I'm going to tell Rafe about what you did for me. And I'm like, damn, so let me get this straight. You can't even sit there and do this woman a favor without, you know, her trying to use you and blackmail you into doing something illegal just to get what she wants. It's like, you can't even do good for her without her finding a way to use you. If she's going to use you, she's going to use you regardless. Like, there's just no conscience or anything like that. It's just about her and what she wants. And so she decides to use Ava to help Gwen help her escape. So Ava comes over Gwen's place and is like, alright, listen, we're going to be partnering in crime, you know, we're going to be, you know, helping Kristen escape, because if we don't, then we're both screwed. And I'm like, wow. Oh my goodness, you know, and I almost sat there and thought, you know what, who wouldn't she blackmail? What line would she not cross? Because, you know, Ava did her a solid just by letting her go and not saying anything. I mean, at this point, was she, I guess the only person that she probably wouldn't cross that line is with Lonnie. Lonnie is probably the only person that she wouldn't sit there and cross that line with. Which is actually surprising, to be honest, because she could have. I don't know why she actually, you know what, I guess they're friends and they've been through a lot, but I'm just like, honestly, to tell you the truth, at this point, I wouldn't even put it past her. I wouldn't sit there and say there's something that she wouldn't do, or something that she couldn't, have the potential to do, because clearly she doesn't have a problem stepping over anyone, or stepping on anyone to get what she wants. Which is too bad for Ava, because, she was just in bed talking to Rafe, and, talking about, clean slate, fresh start, this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, you did lie to him about helping Kristen escape, and now you're going to sit there and do that again and lie to him. But to be fair, Rafe has been lying to you about this whole sleeping with Nicole thing, so I don't feel that bad for Rafe at this point. I really don't, especially when they talked about the fresh, he even actually mentioned like, well, it's a fresh start, zero mistakes and stuff like that, and just, doing what we can to make this work. And I'm like, bro, you lying ass. I'm still not gonna get over that. I'm still not gonna get over that. And like I said, I remember Snitcher talking to my friend, and she was like, well, Rafe is in love with Nicole, and I'm like, and then she was like, well, I don't like Ava, and I'm like, well, that's not the point. The point is that she's lying. He's lying to, well, he cheated on Ava to be with Nicole. And it's like, people just want them together so bad that they don't really care. They don't really care in the fact that he cheated on Ava to do it. Like, regardless how much you don't like Ava, it was still wrong what he did. And he still is doing it by constantly lying straight to her face. Whatever. And of course it doesn't help, Gwen, as far as trying to keep, do anything she can to keep a hold of Xander. Because she had a nightmare that Xander found out about Sarah, and he was just heading off, and he was like, yo, listen, we ain't a thing anymore. I'm going after my boo. Bye. So, whatever. Like I said, it's just, this is what ends up happening when you got villains that tries to turn into heroes, try to redeem themselves. It's like all the plot, all the plotting and cunning that they had, it just goes right out the window. Once again, like always, I do always enjoy the scenes between I always enjoy the scenes with EJ in general. With him and Nicole just being more vulnerable, really just opening up about how much he appreciates his mother, even though that, well, let's be honest, he was embarrassed of her for the longest time. And of course it didn't help the fact that, she named him Elvis. So, given what Susan did for EJ, he felt bad. He felt really, really bad. And it's understandable. I mean, granted, both sides are understandable. I mean, Susan isn't exactly something you want to sit and like, oh, my mother is Susan. She's, she's super obsessed with Elvis, and she has these premonitions. So I get it, but at the end of the day, Susan loves him regardless of how he treated her, how he felt about her. So all that came rushing out when he thought that she was gonna die. So he was pretty vulnerable for a little bit, and then he was like, all right, well, that's over. And Nicole has to sit there and remind him, like, listen, it's okay to be vulnerable. It doesn't mean that you're not this force of nature, it just means that you're human. And they talk about Sammy for a little bit. And of course Nicole starts asking questions like, well, why is Sammy just gone? I mean, it just wouldn't make any sense. And he's just like, well, I mean, kind of just let it go. Like, that's the look that you have on his face, like, yeah, well, I mean, she cheated on me, so. But then I couldn't tell if he was faking it or if he was real about the fact that he felt bad about how he treated Sammy and where it led up to. Like, granted, he was like, listen, don't get me wrong, I am not happy with what she did to me with another man. But I could have been a lot better to her than I was, pretty much. Like, he treated her like, he treated her lower than dirt. And of course, Nicole's like, you were in a lot of pain. You practically wish you were dead every day. Trauma, not being the man you used to be, always being proud of who you are. Like, it's a lot. But, EJ realized, even with that being said, that he could have handled it better. He could have treated her better, and she didn't deserve that. But, of course, he didn't deserve to be cheated on, so, there's that. Then there's the whole Sammy and Jason, which is the guard that's been watching her. He's not happy because he found out, he's like, yo, listen, you've been a bad girl. Took my cell phone, you made a bunch of calls. Now you're just not going to eat for a whole day. So, sucks to be you. And of course, Sammy tries to plead, use the mother card. Talk about how, oh, well, don't you have a mother, wouldn't you do anything, and yada, yada, yada. Tries to use EJ, well, pretty much tries to use money to get her way out of the situation. Oh, my husband will sit there and pay, a lot of money, why don't you just tell me who ordered my capture, And, Jason's just like, yo, I'm not doing that. I know where my paychecks are coming from, and it's damn sure not coming from you. So, that's not going to happen. And no, this person is not about the money for them. You're still not going to know who it is, so, whatever. So, after a while, she tries all these different tactics, and then she's like, you know what, listen, really sorry that I've, tried to do that, and I won't be doing it again, and, pretty much tried to get him to lower his guard, lead him into a false sense of security. So, it works, she gets her food or whatever, and she takes the plate, she starts taking the stuff off, and she's all like, oh, I used to do this when I was a little kid, I like my stuff in a certain way, it's just a, a little thing about me, one of my little things. He's like, alright, whatever, whatever works, and he really does lower his guard, starts to walk, out the door. And of course she picks up that tray and knocks him over the head a couple of times and starts to run out the door. Now, before anyone gets this idea that she's going to escape, remember when Ciara did the same thing and she knocked out, I can't remember if it was Rose or if it was somebody, it might have been Rose. I think it was Rose, like knocked him out or whatever and started running. Maybe she did that to two people. Anyway, Ciara tried to knock out the guard or whatever, and of course she didn't really get that far in the next episode. So to be honest, when I saw that, maybe when I was first watching this show, when I was first watching soap operas, like, oh man, she's gonna escape, it's gonna be so crazy. But now after watching these shows for a while, not just soap operas, just stuff in general, it's like, alright bro, you're not gonna put on me. Right, I know tomorrow she's gonna sit there and get captured, because they're gonna sit there and stretch this out just a little bit. Just a little bit. Not gonna lie, I think that's pretty much about it. If I forgot anything, please write down in the comment section below. I want to thank you for watching, be safe, and I will see you in the next video.